to the OklaRoots YouTube channel, and welcome to March's perfectly pieced embroidery tutorial. So today we are going to open up March's perfectly pieced embroidery box. I have not opened this yet. I'm very excited to see all the goodies inside. We're going to open this up together and we're going to go through one block. If you haven't already heard about Perfectly Pieced, it is so much fun. It is making quilt blocks using an embroidery machine. So if you have an embroidery machine and you love making quilt blocks, but you get frustrated because your points are just never absolutely perfect, and also how do you make a 2" by 2" quilt block? This is how. I love this. I love this monthly subscription so much. It is so much fun. So although I have not opened the box, I have already dug into the file. So you can either opt for a monthly box to arrive at your doorstep that has thread, fabric, other notions. This is especially good if you're just starting out. Maybe you just got an embroidery machine for Christmas. Maybe you're just trying to start a stash, but buying a lot of fabric, yards and yards and yards of fabric is a big investment. This is a great way to start your stash. You're probably not going to use all the material. You're definitely not going to use all the thread in the box. So you'll start a collection of threads and fabrics and notions, and before you know it, you're going to have everything you need to make all kinds of projects. Or if you've been around for a while and you've already purchased most of the fabric and you have lots of thread, you don't need all the extra stuff, you can instead opt for just the monthly download file. Either way, you're going to get an email with the files for different size projects, 2", 4", 6", 8" blocks, lots and lots of project ideas, lots and lots of patterns. So I already dug into the download file. I always like to give the block a little test run before I film it, and this block is so cute. It kind of looks like a bouquet of flowers. That's kind of how I look at it. It looks like a little bouquet of flowers. Now, it is a very geometric design, meaning depending on how you place your colors, how you place different fabric pieces, what and where, it can look totally different. But I will show you, I made the itty bitty one, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make the 2" by 2" one, and the 2" by 2" one is perfect to go on the bottom of one of the itty bitty boxy bags. So do you see how we have like the little holder here, flowers, background? It is a very cute little geometric design, and it is the perfect size for the itty bitty boxy bags. It goes nicely on the bottom. It's adorable. You can have a lot of fun with your fabric choices here to make it really, really pop. Obviously, if you want to make bigger blocks, there are tons of projects, from wall hangings to placemats to clothing, I'm sure. I mean, you have lots and lots of options, but you know me. I like to keep it itty bitty. So that's what I did today. So in today's tutorial, we will be going over the 2" by 2" blocks. Something I love about these tiny blocks is that, especially on months where there's a lot of pieces, right? So like today, one block has 7 pieces of material. Building this one block at this 2" by 2" size without an embroidery machine, just doing it by cutting out the pieces and sewing them at the sewing machine, would be very challenging. I mean, very, very challenging to get all these little perfect points and all the fabric just the way we want it, and the block actually ending up the right size. So I am very excited that we get to make these in a much easier, quicker way using an embroidery machine. So it's like all we have to do is put the fabric down and let the machine do the rest of the work. So thank you so much to MeTime Delivered for sponsoring today's video. I am a huge fan of MeTime Delivered. If you love the quilt blocks, we have Perfectly Pieced. If you want to have Christmas all year long and literally make little tiny Christmas village houses, then you got to check out their collectible Christmas series. Again, they're going to send you a little packet every month with all the little things you need to make these incredible little houses. I've made one so far. I am behind. I have about 3 or 4 packets I need to get through. I'm waiting for that really good day where it's just like, you know what, today I'm just gonna make a bunch of little Christmas houses. It is so much fun. So Christmas all year round. They're adorable. You gotta go check them out. Also, MeTime Delivered has the Bella boxes, which come out twice a year. They are big. They are chock full of all kinds of incredible projects. I get so excited about. There's usually one in the spring and like one in the fall. I think we should be coming up close to getting one soon, right? I'm very excited about Bella boxes. Are fun. So go check out MeTime Delivered. I'll have links down below if you want to go look at all the goodies. All right, guys, let's open up this box and make an itty bitty quilt block. So let's open up this month's box. Oh, so pretty. I just always love these boxes. All right, we're looking at March 2023. Let's flip this over. And this gives you a little rundown of everything that's in the box. Very cute. These colors. Okay, it's March. Yes, so we are ready for spring. Look at this thread. Look at this beautiful thread color. Oh my gosh, this is a glide thread. Glide thread is probably the best, honestly, for embroidery. And let's see, this is the color Taffy. And oh yeah, that definitely reminds me of Taffy. And then let's see, we've got this beautiful fabric bundle here. Oh my gosh, look at this fabric. Oh, I love this floral. And they yellow. Okay, this is just like me and my mom. My mom's favorite color is yellow. I always gravitate towards pink. This is just beautiful. Look at that fabric. Oh, I love all of this so much. And you can see you have different cut sizes, and that's to help you make different projects that they have included in their files. Or you can just use them however you want, which is what I do. I kind of just use the things I need, and then I put the rest to the side, and I use them in future projects. Okay, next we have like a tea towel. Is this a tea towel? Yes, this is a tea towel. It looks like you could get a striped one or a polka dot one. I love this polka dot one. So this is fun. So you can like put some of the quilt blocks on this little tea towel. That would be a fun project. I might actually have to do that one. That sounds really cool. And then finally, you have a printout of the files. So these are pretty much the files that will be included in the monthly download. Of course, you'll also need the actual embroidery files that you put on your machine, but this is just the rundown with instructions. This is what I like to look at whenever I'm making these. So if you don't want to have a computer or laptop or iPad near you while you're working, you can just have the print off. I also like to put these in a binder. They're all hole punched, and I have a nice little binder with all of my perfectly pieced instructions in it. I don't know. I just think this is so fun. It's such a fun subscription. All right, so besides the material and the thread, these are some other things I love to use when I'm embroidering. I have special embroidery scissors. This just makes cutting down everything while we're building the block a lot easier. You will be using this quite a bit. I'll be using a very small hoop today. This is for like a 4" by 4" block. Since I'm making the very, very tiny block today, this is the one I'll be using. Next up, I have the Kimberbell Ultralight Mesh Cutaway Stabilizer, which is fantastic for these because you can really pull on this and it doesn't rip. I've used other stabilizer that works great as well, but if you pull too hard or if you stitch too many times, it starts to rip and then it's very difficult with the project. This one is not going to rip on you. You're going to also need some batting, so any type of batting. I think this is just like some leftover bamboo batting from previous quilt projects. Also, the Kimberbell paper tape is going to be really helpful if you need to hold down your fabric pieces. I know not everybody likes to put their fingers too close to the needle because it goes so fast. So if you want to hold down your fabric pieces without risking an injury, the Kimberbell paper tape is great. If the needle does sew over this, it's perfectly fine. It just comes out easily. A small iron is a must-have. I use this little Cricut iron, but I think Kimberbell has their own as well now. And then my embroidery machine of choice for these projects is my Brother PE800 embroidery machine. I have a whole unboxing video going over this. I love this machine. It is very low maintenance. I don't have to do any greasing, oiling, thingamabobbing with it. It's so simple. I just turn it on and embroider stuff. However, it does have a limit. So for these Kimberbell blocks, I can make the 2" block or the 4" block, but the 6" and 8" blocks will be too big for this machine. But it is an affordable starter machine, and honestly, it's the one I use the most. So now the fun part. What do we want to use for what pieces? So it is kind of like a little holder. So I like this a lot. I think I'm going to use this as like the center holder. Yeah, I think I'll follow suit with them and use this as the little tiny accent. And then I'm going to use this big piece as the background. I think that will pop really nicely. Those three look beautiful together. And then I'm going to save these for future projects. Okay, so once you have all your little pieces cut, now all we have to do is just plop it in the machine and sew it together. So I'm going to walk you through that. First thing you'll want to do is cut down your stabilizer. I always like to just make sure it's bigger than the outer hoop. And then just take out the inner hoop, lay your stabilizer over the outer hoop, and then lay your inner hoop back inside. There you go. Make sure you give it a little tug, nice and taut, and then tighten up your hoop. All right, so I have my file already loaded up. I have my new thread color loaded up. So now I just need to put the hoop in the machine. And this first stitch is going to stitch out the placement for the batting. Once you have that stitched out, lay down your batting over the stitch lines and then stitch down the batting. Once that's stitched down, pull this out of the machine and we're going to trim off the excess batting. So just gently lift up the batting and then use your embroidery scissors to trim close to the stitch line. Now it doesn't need to be right against the stitch line, so just close. Don't cut the thread, don't cut the stabilizer. Once that's done, put the hoop back in the embroidery machine, and now we're going to stitch down placement lines for all of the block pieces. Now you're going to take block 1 and you're going to lay it right side up, right over that center square. So this is the only piece of material that we put on right side up. And now we're going to stitch that in place. Now remove the hoop from the machine and gently lift up any of the material to the right of the stitches and trim it down. Now take fabric piece number 2 and lay it right side down on top of fabric piece number 1, lining up the right edge of fabric piece 2 with those stitches that you just made, and then stitch down fabric piece 2. Now take the hoop out of the machine and then gently press back fabric piece 2 so it's right side up, and then grab your little iron and just quickly give it a press. You don't have to hold it there for long. There we go. So now we're going to put this back in the machine and stitch down placement for fabric 3. And take the hoop out of the machine, and then any of the material above that stitch line, you can trim it down. And now take fabric piece number 3 and lay it right side down on top of fabric pieces 1 and 2, lining up the long edge with the stitch line. And now let's stitch down fabric piece 3. Now let's take the hoop out of the machine and flip fabric piece 3 right side up, and then just give it a quick press. Now we're going to stitch down the placement line for fabric 4. Now take the hoop out of the machine, and you can trim off any of the fabric that's underneath that stitch line. And then take pattern piece 4 and lay that right side down on top of the other pattern pieces, lining up one of the edges with that stitch line, just like that. And now let's stitch down pattern piece 4. And you can take the hoop out of the machine and then flip down piece 4 right side up and give it a quick press. So pretty. Next, we're going to stitch placement for pattern piece 5. Once that's stitched down, you can lift up any of the material to the left of the stitching and just trim it down. Now grab pattern piece 5 and lay that right side down so the long edge on the left lines up with the stitch line. Now let's stitch down pattern piece number 5. Once you have piece 5 stitched in place, just flip it right side up and quickly give it a press to hold it down. There we go. Now we're going to stitch down placement for pattern piece 6. So now lift up the material that's on the bottom of that stitch line and just trim it down. And then take pattern piece 6 and lay it right side down, long edge lining up with that stitch line. And now let's stitch down pattern piece number 6. Once that's stitched down, just fold back pattern piece 6 so it's right side up and press it down. So now let's stitch down the placement for pattern piece 7. Now lift up the material above that stitch line and just trim it down. And then take your final pattern piece 7 and lay it right side down so the long edge goes against that stitch line. And then stitch down pattern piece 7. And then finally lift up pattern piece 7 right side up and press along that seam, so that the whole bit of blocks here is nice and flat. So this next step is going to stitch down the outline. This is the finished size of the block. So the block, when sewn in, will be 2 inches by 2 inches. But before that, it will be 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And then finally, we're going to do the embroidery step, which is really beautiful. This is completely optional, though. Once you have the embroidery step done, you can remove everything from the hoop. And then I'm just going to grab a quilt ruler and a rotary cutter, and I'm going to trim down. And you're pretty much just trimming right on this outer square stitch. And there you go. How sweet is that little block? It's so cute. Okay, you can see I have a friend here. This is the newest member of the OklaRoots family. She decided she wanted to be a part of this tutorial today. So this is Kiki. Kiki, say hello to everybody. She doesn't speak. Not yet. She speaks a little bit. Thank you. She said hello. So look how stinking cute this turned out. It's like a beautiful little bouquet of flowers. I just love it so much. It's so pretty. And like I said, with these little blocks, they're really fun. You can make a little boxy bag like this. You can put a bunch of them together to make a bigger item. There's just a lot of fun things you can do with these little quilt blocks. So I hope you enjoyed this month's block from Perfectly Pieced. It is beautiful. It is ready for spring. Kiki and I are both ready for spring. I hope you're having a great day. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Get out there and make something. Bye, guys. Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself? You don't see yourself? No, you look good. You look great, girl. You look great. What? Why are you so loud? You need poo-poos? You gotta be quiet while I work. Kill me. It's loud. I can't hear anything out of his ear now. I hope you're having a great day. Have a fantastic rest of your... Stop it. I hope you're having a great day. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Now you can say something. Do you want to say bye? Can you say goodbye? You gonna poop on me?